Mouse.
Please do not be alarmed by anything you see or hear around you. You are bound to feel some initial ill effects as you've been rescued from certain death at an improbability level of 2 to the power of 267,709 to 1 against, possibly much higher. We are now cruising at a level of 2 to the power of 25,000 to 1 against and falling, and we will be restoring normality as soon as we are sure what is normal anyway. Thank you.
WDRN production staff may be considered complete works of fiction. Any similarity to reality is only due to the potential graphic perspective or text. Please adjust your perspective or text translator devices for enjoyable listening pleasure. WDRN can take no responsibility for improperly adjusted perspective or text translations and currently operating at the frequency of somatic 900 megahertz.
Hey y'all, using the agenda here. If you're an independent journalist struggling to get your story out, contact one of our mediators in our chat room for review. Get your story featured on the Hawk Ethernet Radio, part of the Wicked Develops Radio Network. Last submission guidelines: video or portion must not be longer tan 3 minutes. Only be played with a startup point. All material submitted to WDRN is the sole responsibility of the submitter. All content is fair use practice. With your help, WDRN will rise to the top of all available news networks. This has been Using the Agenda to Reach to Read.
Mouse.
All right, thank you for joining. This is Alan, otherwise known as Beware Mouse, and I have got something for you that will make you crawl, make you puke. It'll make you, well, get rather angry that the defund the police, defund ICE, we're being promoted to do the wrong thing. We should be defunding the FBI. After 9/11, after the Mythbusters come out with absolute proof there is no such thing as a gun because there's no such thing as a shaped charge. National Geographic that came out and showed the driving of the Golden Spike back in the 1800s, joining the East Coast to the West Coast. And that joining was done with thermite. They're the ones that covered the story, and then later they come out trying to show you thermite can't cut metal. This is nothing more than crowd control in order to get rid of the people that would actually have the weight in order to say, no, it's not. And yet we're sitting here listening to that. Listen to this. And the information I have for you is absolutely solid. The only thing I got to do is show this very, very short video, and Robertson is cleared of any wrongdoing immediately. Do you think it's in the hands of these guys? Let's check it out.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please be seated, and you can give your statement now.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Durbin, and members of the committee. It's an honor to be here with you today as the 9th Director of the FBI. I want to provide by providing a briefing into the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's important that this FBI is transparent as possible without jeopardizing investigations. Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 p.m. on September 10th. I think this timeline is critically important. Less than a day later, the FBI at my direction released the first set of images of the suspect that we captured
based on false information, based on the fact that they wanted a patsy. Do I have proof? I have absolute proof.
On our analysis on the ground. Later that evening, while conducting extensive interviews and cell phone analysis and also flying out evidence response teams and hostage rescue teams and evidence tacticians who were collecting evidence in live time and flying them back to Washington, D.C. in our laboratories for immediate analyses, we were able to
get a bunch of stuff that's irrelevant. You see, they're 24 hours late. Somebody already picked up everything out of the crime zone. We watched the crew pick up all their cameras. We watched them clear off the crime zone. We watched people wander around taking photographs. They weren't FBI folks. That crime scene was wiped clean long before they even got on the plane.
extract video from the campus feed and at my direction.
Oh, campus feed, extracted video. That's what we're going to be showing you in a few minutes.
At 8 p.m. in partnership and promise to working with the public to bring this fugitive to justice. We released a newly, never before seen video of the suspect.
Oh,
we also
I
released
have
new
that,
enhanced photos
but it's
of
a
the
released
suspect.
video.
A few hours later,
I have a released video that clearly shows that Robertson was not the shooter. I have a released video that anybody that downloaded the gory details, whatever motivated them in order to do that, has in their possession. Remember that. This is a distributed, highly distributed video. And as a matter of fact, has even been seen on CNN. The portion of the video I have, and the video I have, has been aired on CNN. That's how popular this video is. Continue, Mr. Patel.
that suspect was in custody, pursuant to the interrogation of the suspect's own father, who stated, when I saw that video that you released, I recognized it was my son, and I confronted him, and he was handed over to lawful law enforcement authorities. That is the FBI working with the public, as I promised, being transparent and providing critical information along the way in the manhunt for the suspect and suspects involved in Charlie's assassination. We received over 11...
Well, transparency. We've got a real problem with transparency. You remember when 9/11 happened, they tried to convince you that thermite would not cut metal? And they even had a big NIST commission. Meanwhile, anybody that has been convicted of a murder for a gun charge can now take the NIST information, go into court, and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt there is no such thing as a gun. Yeah. Why? Because there's no such thing as a shaped charge. Can you imagine this trial? Well, Your Honor, I'm about to prove that there is no such thing as guns. It is merely an imagination of some derangement of the prosecution. Now, we're going to take, they say a gun has just a couple of grams of gunpowder. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to use a full pound of gunpowder. And we're going to take this rain bucket here, and I'm going to put a full pound of gunpowder in this bucket, and you see this metal steely here, I'm going to set it right on top. Poof! See, Your Honor, the metal steely doesn't go nowhere. There is no such thing as guns. It's called a shaped charge, motherfucker. It's called a shaped charge. But our government wants to tell us that suddenly, past the year 2000, we were not using thermite, that the Navy SEALs are not trained with thermite, that thermite is not used in demolitions, that thermite can't cut steel, that thermite was not used on the railroads, that National Geographic never took a photograph of them pounding the Golden Stake because they could never have joined the rails together without the use of thermite. So there's no railroad, there's no common sense, there's no history, and the people that are gullible enough to believe what they say, and it's not part of their lives anyway, go on thinking whatever they want. Because there's no outcry. There is no violation of your high school diploma. Well, in this case, there is.
1,000 tips in the first 24 hours alone. We received 16,000 submissions to our digital media enterprise and tip lines. That is a large number of material to go through.
Ignoring
I want to thank President Trump and the Attorney
evidence
General,
is
Pam
what it
Bondi, for their unwavering support and commitment resources to this and all investigations. I also want to especially thank our colleagues in Utah, Governor's Office, DPS, and the sheriffs out there. State and local law enforcement partnership has been a cornerstone since I took over at the FBI, and it was no different here. And our teams in Salt Lake City, our SACs out there across the country, our lab technicians in Quantico, who raced to complete the evidence analysis so the public could have the answers they need. These people worked through the night without sleep for days on end. They're to be commended.
For no reason whatsoever.
And many more people I don't have time to thank you
to try to find some way of blaming somebody other than the
is for
actual
them and with
blame.
them and by, with, and through them. And it's that mission and that ethos that I brought to this investigation and so many others, and that's why that suspect is in custody. We cannot do our job without the American public and credible reporting in the media, and that's why Tyler Robinson is in custody today, about to face trial.
Well, that's because they want to hide who is actually responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, there's a lot of information that has come out since. Candace Owen has put out quite a bit of information showing the fact that Israel, the same people that we're now defending, had a lot to do with it. Now, mind you, we're talking about one demon or another demon, Iran. When 9/11 happened, it was immediately known that Iran had something more to do with it. Saudi Arabia didn't, and that Iran actually was the people we should have been fighting. But we went in and took care of things for Iran in Iraq. A lot of soldiers have come back and are rather upset about it as soon as they find out the actual politics and the actual truth of the matter. There's nothing they can do about it. They don't have any legs, or they don't have an arm, or they lost their brother. And the losing of the brother is what we're talking about here. It's the only thing that's going to stop this information from getting out. As simple as that. So let's listen to what more he has to say here. And mind you, he just made the connection himself from the Arizona office all the way to his desk. Okay? Is not incompetent. It's in a desperate 24-hour desperation to try to prove anything other than the truth. Watch this.
Charges. The last time I appeared before this committee was in January for my confirmation hearing. I told you then that if I were confirmed, I would provide and do everything I can to provide a safe and secure America. I promised to provide the courageous men and women of the FBI the tools and resources they need to crush violent crime and defend the homeland. I pledged myself to commit to full transparency, oversight, and accountability so we could restore the public's trust in the FBI.
Well,
That's exactly
you lost it with this
Under
one,
this administration,
dude.
the FBI's arrest.
How can you establish the public's trust when you are deliberately coming out and trying to say that 9/11 was not an inside job, that thermite cannot cut metal, that a gentleman by the name of Urich was not the dead body that we see, that the special guard, the operations in which our president is protected by, was not replaced by the dumbest people they could find and lowest freaking scores they could find prior to that. We still don't know what happened to Crooks. We have the body of Urich, photograph of Urich, dead on the roof, and yet we do not know what happened to Crooks. No one's gone there, but we have gone and discovered that Urich was firearms and explosives out of Arizona. Oh, wait a minute, was there another tie-in here to the failures of Arizona? No, because the obstruction and the block happened at a much higher level than Arizona. It happened at the federal level. Let's listen. Let's listen to how desperate they have been to point the finger anywhere, any place, except where it belongs.
More than 23,000 violent criminals. That's more than twice for the same time period from last year alone. 23,000, more than twice from the same time period last year. We've taken over 6,000 illegal firearms off the streets. That number is an exponential increase.
And they're so busy making up stories. So basically, if they're making up Kirk assassination and circumstances, I guess all of those numbers are conflated as well. They have destroyed the trust of the FBI in the public's eye. There is no way that the FBI needs to be... Well, I agree with you, Thunder. We have Thunder, which is my co-host. Thunder, are you okay? Let me get our co-host here real quick. He seems to have a problem with something. This is Thunder, our co-host. seems to have an opinion about this matter. I figured I'd better rescue him before he has a heart attack. He's upset about all this too, I guess. Go. The other thing of it is, one of the other cats have got his toy, and he doesn't like that, so I had to distract him. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and listen to what this man has to say. This is really embarrassing, because what I have to show you at the end of this ends everything, all the conversation.
We've identified and located more than 4,700 child victims. More than 4,700 child victims have been found by this FBI. That is a 35% increase from the same time period last year. 1,500 child predators have been arrested. That's a 5% increase from the same time last year. 300 human traffickers have been arrested. That's a 10% increase from the same time last year. Over 350 members of Tren de Aragua, foreign terrorist organization, have been arrested, and we have 42 ongoing cases. That is a 250% increase from the same time last year. Those are just some of the things the FBI is doing differently and better, because we are leading the mission to crush violent crime and defend the homeland. We have also captured four top 10 fugitives from the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. To put that in perspective, that's the same amount I've captured in 7 months that my predecessor did during the entirety of the Biden administration. Those are real results, and the credit is to the men and women at the FBI. We've been able to...
Okay, so basically what he's saying is they sat on all these arrests until they absolutely had to make them. Isn't that what you're hearing too? They sat on this arrest all the way through the Biden administration until it was politically correct to do so, in order to make themselves look good. Look how many cases they sit there and stored back in order to later, if they want to, go back and arrest somebody, anybody. But just as long as they can arrest somebody, they've done their job.
Achieve these results because the FBI recognizes violent crime doesn't just happen in Washington, D.C. That's why one of my first decisions as a director was to get the people, the Bureau's professional staff, out to the field. And we've done that with great speed. And every single one of your districts and states has received a plus-up of FBI personnel, agents, and special operators to the tune of almost 1,000. We did that because crime had unexpectedly and unacceptable.
Okay, $1,000. How much do these guys, or 1,000 operators? How much do these guys make? 100,000, 200,000 a year? How much? 80,000? Don't forget, every time he runs out these numbers, we're talking about 4 or 5 employees that have to go out and do something about it. And they're not even on target.
Exploded across the country. In fact, one of the stats that the American people should thank the FBI the most for is we are on track to have the lowest murder rate in modern American history. The lowest murder rate by double-digit percentages.
Oh, because you haven't arrested anybody. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, you see how double talk works here? It's not working for him this time.
A major factor in the drop of this violent crime is the FBI's flagship Operation Summer Heat. We use this initiative at the direction of the President and the Attorney General, surging resources to our major and mid-major cities across America, conducting intelligence-based operations to target the worst of the worst, to target the gangs, to target the transnational organizations, to target the TCOs, and to target the drug trafficking cartels. And we have taken them out city by city. There's a lot of work left to be done, but we're off to a great start. Just ask the citizens of Seattle, Miami, Memphis, Charlotte, Chicago, and so many more places. Specifically in New Orleans and Nashville alone, there has been an increase in the number of violent crime arrests by an average of 250% for each of those cities. And there has been a drastic reduction in crime across the board in mid-major cities across this country, thanks to the men and women of the FBI. How are we doing that? We are attacking the drug epidemic. We've seized nearly 1,000 kilograms of meth and cocaine off the streets of America.
1,000?
We've taken over 16
kilograms? 1,000. When we have tons coming in. Yeah, okay.
1,600 kilograms of fentanyl off the streets. Maybe one of the greatest achievements we have this year. 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl. That's a 25% increase from the same time last year. To put things in perspective, that's enough fentanyl to kill a third of the American populace, 115 million Americans. We're also going after the companies that manufacture these precursors overseas in places like mainland China and their cutting agents. In fact, this month in Cincinnati, we announced groundbreaking charges aimed at the individuals and businesses responsible for flooding these opioids and their precursors and cutting agents into the streets of America. And for the first time that I can remember, we are charging these businesses.
Now, mind you, this is FBI Kash Patel addresses Charlie Kirk assassination. But we're talking about China and fentanyl now.
And enterprises, not just in America, but in mainland China, and seizing their operational necessity to have money by seizing their cryptocurrency wallets. We're also equally important to protecting the homeland. We know we have a no-fail mission. We're committed to keeping our nation safe from terrorism, cyber attacks, and foreign adversaries, whether stopping threats inspired by foreign terrorist organizations or lone wolf actors or sponsored by hostile nation states. This year, we've already made nearly 60 counter...
All right, you know something? Why conspiracy took a hold 5 wild that's 20 minutes. Let's have shorter. I want something shorter here. I just want the list of all the different ways they want to tell you Charlie Kirk is dead. Let's see here. Latest compelling theory of who killed Charlie Kirk. Huge new evidence debunks Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories. Should I do that one? Or Brandon Tantum shuts down Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories. At close range, 2 shocking theories about Charlie Kirk, none of which is working out for him. Oh, look, we have a trap door that's open on a roof. That has to have something to do with it. Anything except what it is. Whoops, there it is. Whoops, there it is. Tyler Robinson is a patsy. New evidence debunks Charlie Kirk shooting.
Now Charlie
Let's
Kirk.
just go ahead.
Everybody's wondering about Charlie Kirk. Everybody's got a theory on Charlie Kirk. So
yeah, well, there's so many people. There's so many like ex-military dudes talking about how like there's no way that round from that matches that gun, and if it's a 30-06, the entry wound in the neck, there would have absolutely been an exit wound.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So here's the theory. Again, this is what me and John kind of discussed. Is all right. So they're saying that shot was from 43 yards or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, 143 yards. Again, we've got the acoustics from 2 different camera systems that were on the left and right side of Charlie Kirk facing the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on the acoustics, right? The acoustics said that shot came from 74 yards and not 143 yards to his front. So
that's wrong too, and I'll tell you why. Because it's above the buildings. They calculated these echoes to be having been below the buildings. The shot came from above the buildings. It's the reason why it's suppressed. It's the reason why it's muffled. It's because it was muffled off the ground and off the actual crowd. However, in this thumbnail here, you can see that they're pointing out this little object here. Well, we found out what that is. That object's actually a drone. There's been a couple of people that have discovered that to be true.
When science...
Right there. There's your drone. You want me to get a better view? Now I want you to notice this has been slowed down. And I also want you to notice that Charlie Kirk has already been shot. You ready? You ready?
Apparently there's been a shooting.
It's just, there's just so much. Before we had a flag and we had it, so it was positioned above the tent, so it would be in the camp.
What was that? Apparently there's been a shooting.
All right, well, let me explain something else to you. This here was not only seen by this camera, but you notice that this insert here shows it near this balcony. The people along this balcony seen it. There was no report in any of the official, not even their own drone in the air. However, I will tell you that there was an aircraft that flew from a nearby airport that the black box was turned off on, which is illegal, that basically would have been the indication of a walk-in. In other words, they get in their plane, they take off, they fly the drone next to the plane until they get to the location, they drop the drone down, they take the shot, drone disappears, the plane disappears, nobody knows what happens. Can't even connect for sure the drone and the plane. This is a military operation. There's much more involved here than just 1 or 2 people, or one person and his dad. Get it? So then we get to all these fake, propagandized theories. I don't know what happened, folks. You get something like this, and I guess you're going to have technical difficulties. Let's make sure I'm still online otherwise. Alright, I think I'm online. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I think I'm online. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, so let's get back to this. We're going to start with the drones because I'm not sure exactly where they cut me off.
I didn't use any kind of optical flow to slow them down. Anytime I slowed it down, I was just reproducing the exact original frames and also talking to these guys on the roof. And 1 second before the shot is fired at Charlie Kirk on his live stream, it completely cuts. Now, luckily, he was recording. This is just an insect flying by. I went through and magnified each of these things. Sorry, that one's an eagle. And you can see it's flapping its wings. It's back there over the valley. Bunch of birds diving on a lake or whatever it is. Here's a bird going behind this tree. Video compression causes us to lose it in the mountain. Then it comes out in that dark area under the building. That's a bird. We see it flapping its wings, and it flies into the tree. That's what birds do. Drones don't fly into trees. Drones crash in trees. So I went through here and I analyzed all of these items. There's an insect. You see it. I slowed it down. You see the wings flapping, the segmented body moving around. This is not a drone. This is a wasp or something flying over these kids' heads. And so I went through, I didn't just say every dot was a drone. And when we found something that did not behave like a bird or an insect, I said, well, now wait a minute. The gunfire has just happened. I think birds generally fly away from gunfire and chaotic human activity. But yet, right after that shot, we have this thing show up, which flies into the frame any second here. And remember, that jet is doing ISR. That's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So maybe it's gathering intelligence about the site. Now they've done something, and this thing comes and does an orbital over the crowd. I don't see any flapping. I see a little bit of image compression around the sides of it, but it does this really smooth orbital right over the crowd. Why would a bird be interested in this chaotic human activity? That's a reconnaissance drone, I think. And then it flies away. And then we have this thing. Sorry, this is just the same thing, slow motion, so people can evaluate it. But we get a few things flying here. The next thing that shows up is another object that's kind of far away, so it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but as it gets closer to us, you're going to see it's emitting smoke. Look at that smoke trail, Clayton. That's not a bird, and that's not compression artifacts. That, to me, is either a lithium polymer-powered electric drone that's having an imminent failure and emitting smoke. Those batteries are very volatile and catch on fire easily. Or it's a gasoline electric hybrid drone and it's burning gas. Then we have this fast moving thing. In the first frame, you can see it looks like it's got wings and it zips vertically up only in about 5 frames of video. So that's like 1/6 of a second. It shoots across the sky really, really quickly. And here's another thing moving quickly up, horizontally up. Now, while it's true, certain types of birds, falcons and stuff like that, they can dive very, very quickly, but I don't think that they move upward like that.
So, we have drones that are sitting on top of the building that come to a rest and then fly off right afterwards. Now, what I'm going to show you next has been widely distributed. This has been widely distributed. I'm going to play it for you. This is already slowed down. But I'm going to play it for you. And I want you to watch. Let me get this up here. I want you to watch this area right here. Now, in addition, you're going to see a dash of light L-shaped in this area here. Okay? But after you see this, then you'll see this L shape appear, and there'll be something that is elongated show up over here somewhere. So watch carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the bullet. Let me slow that down just a little bit more. I want you to pay attention to this area of the screen right here. Although there's things moving on the round, you will see something you cannot unsee. The actual bullet. Now, what I haven't played is the audio. You can hear the report. After you hear the report, you actually hear the impact. Pop. You hear it? Chink, pop. Let's slow it down some more. Wish I could stop it exactly on the frame. This here has been slowed down, etc., but it's very difficult. It's right in there, and you can actually see the shape of the bullet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the left-hand stage. This is the camera that was facing his back. You can go and find this video yourself. The fact that an idiot like myself can find this, but the FBI hasn't, ends this conversation. There's nothing left to say. The FBI needs to be gutted. They need to be completely wiped out, completely disbanded. From 9/11 to Charlie Kirk, they're incapable with the corruption, the level of corruption that they have. They're incapable of getting anything right. This has been Beware Mouse. Thank you for tuning in. May God be with you. Wow.
Rise, light up the night.